So you just keep it. You be very careful talking to an agent. Very, very careful. Anyway, it was it was over in about less than 5 minutes. They do their process work. See, the thing is, you need to do two things. There's two things going on. First, you need to walk your talk, right? That's renewing of the mind. And the second thing is you need to deal with the wooden idols, right? They're the two things. And the wooden idols, where the paperwork's in order, that basically means that there's no blemish on the paper. The paperwork's clean. Down here they call it clean. When it's clean, it means there's no transgression. You call it sin or whatever. So it's considering all things, the fiction, one another. You considering all things, the known and the unknown. Yeah. And even if you think you know something, well, can you even prove that you know it? So these are what we're looking at. Am I looking at Dominion? Are you on the call, brother?
I believe I'm here, brother.
Oh, g'day. How are you?
I'm well. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. So I'm just talking to this good friend Gypsy. She's from the land down under as well, and she's wanting to jump on from time to time on these calls. So if you want to go through a few things today, we can do that if you like.
Beautiful, brother. I'm here and ready.
Okay. All right. Well, so if you're gonna record the call, I guess do we agree that we're using this platform and all parties agree?
Everybody good?
Sure.
Everybody?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So I'd just like to start off with, this is because you've got to look at it, we're just using we're using a technology that, hey, unless you invented it, do what you like, but it's kind of like considering the unknown through agreement, where if it's here, it's there to use. So we use I call it a natural resource. So if we're using a natural resource and we've considered one another, do we agree using this natural resource? And we all go, yeah, well, there in the midst I am, and that's basically what agreement is. In other words, who's going to come in between? Yeah, right. Because we're considering the unknown factor, and it's the unknown factor. If we don't consider the unknown factor, that's when you actually go into fear, and when you consider the unknown factor, which is the anonymous claim. It's an anonymous claim. There's an anonymity. You're dealing with a phantom, which is an agent who is appointed. It's a bit like your guardian agent is there to basically ensure that there's no stone unturned. In other words, bring the claiming that one's in possession of property of the possessor, which doesn't belong to you. But if you're asking, that there's a completely different reality that starts to unfold. Yeah, does that make sense, Dominion?
I believe it does to me, brother. You got another believer here.
Hey, listen. If there's such a thing as a belief, right? If there is one thing to believe, it's actually believing in one another, and it's actually believing in one another rather than reacting and being in defence of one another, like all set in opposition to one another, and that's where knowledge and information. I know more than you, and you know more than me, and then we're in this complete loggerhead, of this kind of ego, kind of back and forward
Just more division, right?
struggle of division. Yeah, you could call it that.
Right on.
Yeah. So that's why it's easier, especially for me. How I see it is, you know, what do I really know, and that's why these calls have been about the breaking down of the stories instead of we break a story down and we deal with each proposition. And that's why it's like when we're looking at transcript or audio or anything, we pause a lot of it because we're going through it and we're listening for the presumptions, which in court, the judge, if I've said I've heard it here before in court, the judge goes to the prosecution, do you agree with the presumption of law? And he does it right in front of you, and the prosecution goes, yes, I do. Now court can proceed. Why? Because there's agreement. Imagine that, boys and girls. You can't even start court without agreement. What do you think of that?
Seems like they already got you if they start with agreement, right?
Well, if if I heard that, and I'd go, excuse me, Judge, what's that supposed to mean? Now they've got to explain themselves, and if you go silent, well, now you've gone into the jurisdiction because agreement is the jurisdiction, and where's the signed agreement between you and me, Mr. Prosecutor? On a piece of paper before this judge.
Yeah.
So look, a lot of this stuff, it does sound all very interesting, and again, it's a completely different reality once you're actually living it and doing it. It's like I was just sharing with Gypsy Dominion. There was another call. I might go through it with you both a little bit later. But we down here, we constantly get pulled over by coppers, and it just, what we're going to share with you is just how easy it's becoming. When I say it's easy, it's very simple, but not easy. I'll rephrase that. It's not easy, but extremely simple, and the meditation is deep. It's deep internal work, and that's what we're looking at.
Why do you say it's deep internal work? Is it because you really can wipe everything away and listen to what's being asked of you?
Yeah. So you're listening and you're meditating on the question, and that's all that allegedly Jesus used to do. He used to see or hear the Pharisees and Sadducees coming over the mountain, and he would be on the ground meditating with the stones on the ground, and he'd be just doing a bit of whatever meditation, and then when they came, there was the powerful questions came out of the mouth.
Yeah, and for me, staying out of the paralysing fear of the blue and red flashing lights, that just staying out of that.
Yeah. See, that fear. And any sort of fear is that. See, without these indications, how are we going to do the work? And that's why fear is within man. Why is it? Because I've taken it's. I know it's just a very strange concept. I've taken possession of a concept, of a belief, of an idea. I've taken possession of a term, of a, whether it be police, I'll get scared or whatever. Once you start doing the work, what is it exactly you're being scared of, and why would you be scared of man? Just man, dressed up in a whatever, clown suit, whatever, doesn't matter.
For the first time around, I jumped out and said, "What's the emergency? Is there something I can help?" But then, because of being in that box for 3 days, I hope to be able to handle it next time.
Yeah, look, it's how can I put it? It's day by day, and it's looking at what's going on in the moment. And as I said, it's not easy when they're pretty much bumping India and you know, wanting to pretty much go you straight away. It can be a little bit not easy. Very simple, but not easy.
They continue to ignore the precedents set in America that we have a right to travel. They just will not. They just continue to ignore. I say they, you know, in a widespread.
Total ignoring. Total ignoring, as if there are no, like, the hundreds and hundreds of opinions in court cases never even happened. It is pretty wild.
So does that tell you something, boys and girls? Does it tell you something when what you've just said? Is that telling you something? Then why, if that was true with these, you know, opinions and the overall opinions of the people, if this is true, then why is it that the police, they don't share the opinions of the people? Can anyone answer that one?
I'll lob it back to you, brother. Could you help?
I can say something.
Yeah.
And that they're employed in their capacity to bring money to the administration.
But how does that overrule what is supposed to be called the law of the land? You know what I mean?
It's not about justice.
How is policy higher than law? How is policy here at all?
Well, has anyone actually investigated what policy is?
No.
Seems like treason, brother.
Well, policy is just another example, or it's basically another program adopted by an individual to basically be in a position of advantageous. So you're in a policy is just sort of like what is advantageous to the government. It's something that's it's giving an advantage, or you could say, you can just type it in the dictionary, and it just shows you the course of action adopted and pursued by a government, a ruler. So policy is how is that related to man, to an individual, unless you believe it? So, yeah.
Or contradict it, right?
Yeah. So that's why down here it's very important to contradict what you're hearing. That's what they need, a contradictor, which is a context. They need you to go in combat, and that's where, if I heard you speak before about the rights, if you believe you've got rights, well, now you're in a very big program of believing that you are your own. And once you believe that you are your own, then you can be offended, then you can be violated, because once you are your own, then you can react to the forces who come before you and do something that you don't like, and that's a huge thing, where that's how I see the coppers. They're there to see what you react to, because you believe you got rights, and now this individual before you who's dressed in a costume or whatever, he's there to violate you. Yeah. Anyone ever been violated before?
Yeah.
I felt like I was at the time, brother.
Yeah. I think violation is the most beautiful thing that's ever rained down on this planet. Anyone who can be violated, that's probably the best start. Yeah. By the way, you're recording the call, Dominion?
100%, brother.
Cool. So the violation is the identification of the I am, where straight away the agents will come to you with their agent questionnaire, and they will start to talk to you about their policy. Okay, so their policy is going to be in contradiction to you. Whatever you believe, they're going to be contradictory to what you're saying. Can you see how the agents are there? I mean, one may believe, that they're there for money for the state. Well, on one hand, that may be true, but what do you know about they unless you've actually met them and do you know them? You see, the agents, you can't possibly know them. You've never met them before. So it's kind of a delusion that's where I learned from the judges. It's like they were the ones that said, do you know them? If you don't know them, why are you speaking to them? And now that you spoke to them, there's a consequence to it. And
did you say a judge said that to you, brother?
Yeah.
Gracious. Okay, sorry. Continue, brother.
He was teaching him.
That's why, brothers, this is over the years. It's not something that you're going to hear just straight out, He says, you spoke to the judge. Sorry, you spoke to the agent, and there's a consequence to that. If you speak to a police, I mean, you've probably even seen many videos about never talk to coppers, never talk to the police, because their role is basically the old rat in a sense, or dogs of war, to basically anything you say can and will or may be used against you, and it will be decided by the courts. So why is one going to talk with the police? So it doesn't matter what you believe about them. Could you be mistaken? What do you know about any of the stuff that you believe? And that's probably why these letters or these IRS, or whether it's the Australian or US or whatever, they're all under the same governance of this policy or whatever one talks about, adopted. These are programs. Right, and then these government programs are gone into schools, and then we adopt them as individuals. So we adopt these programs for ourselves by inserting these programs into oneself, and then you go through life thinking, thinking you know something, and then the rude awakening starts to hit home when you maybe even haven't starting a family, and you're starting, to live life, and then suddenly you realise things are getting pretty tough out there, because everything you do is you're putting a foot in a hole, and it's very, very difficult. So, yeah. Did you want to go through something there, Dominion? That thing you were talking about the other day?
Well, I actually sent you one other thing as well, but it was just an idea. It was a back call where he pretty much talks about what the illusion is, and it's like a 10-12 minute call.
All right, send it to me now, and we'll just.
And then there's the other Yusef L. It's like an 8-minute clip, and he's talking about what to say at an arraignment. But
yeah,
there's
good. Let's look at that now. Can we?
Yeah, for sure, brother.
All right, can you send it through me now?
I'll send it right on. I think it's in your chat. Would you like me to send it to the group chat instead?
Yeah, the group chat. I think it is. Awesome. We also talked the possibility. Oh, is that the one you've already sent it? Is that in the chat now?
Yes.
Okay, let me have a look at that. Oh yeah, hang on a second. Oh yeah, I'll just give me a tick.
Discover a simple yet brilliant hack to cool your home in just 90 seconds.
Oh, that's that one.
It is
Which
about
one
to
do you want
change
to go
the way
through
Australians
first?
keep cool forever.
Whichever, brother. Whichever.
All right.
I did think that the back call would be something special to go through, because he is so close on what it's about. But I would like to hear you add two, or you know.
Yes. All right. Is it in there now?
Yes, it should be back to back. One of them is the picture that looks like a jury, and the other one is the Yusef call that we had already discussed. So whichever.
I'm trying to click on.
Or Gypsy has something more important or more pressing, you know.
Oh, it's okay. It's fine. I've got too many beliefs I've got to get rid of.
All right, well, hang out with us and you'll become a complete dumbass.
I've just got the whiteboard duster marker thing. I'm trying to, use it.
Yeah.
Spray.
All right. Now, I need to be able, in the chat side of things here, under who's the possessor of all things, click on it. Is it available there now, Dominion?
No, but I can put it there in a matter of seconds.
Good. I'm waiting. And
this is the first one right here, and I'll put the second one right after that.
Okay.
They both should be there right now.
Oh, yeah, that's the, okay. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to just screen share, starting sharing, as one may call it, and go to the chat, and I'll click on that. And you tell me if you see anything. All right, can you see it?
And one day, when I realized who's the fucking problem here. Wow. I go into that courtroom making claims, and then I get pissed because I agree to what the offer is. Who is the fucking idiot here? I mean,
yeah, so he's talking about agreeing. Yeah, that's it. Hang on.
It's really that simple, you know? I got some more of him to play or whatever, but the gist of it is, yeah, it's background, man. I've been there. The purpose, I believe, is that I got a passion for people to wake up. And some people may not like the way I do it, but the point of the matter is, if you stayed on point, whether you like the way I do it or not, it's fucking irrelevant. You know what I mean? Get over it, assholes. Fucking, you know? What can I say?
I was thinking that if I was going to ever sign anything, and I'll just, wait around for who's claiming it's a signature, or
yeah.
Or
Spidey, come on, Spidey. Get background noise. Straight up, Spidey. Get deprogrammed here. I believe if anybody wants ink on paper, yeah, I'll put it on there. Until then, it's only a signature if you claim it is. And I hear where you were going with that. If anybody asks, is this your signature?
Yeah, is this your signature? What do you mean by your? So many times they will go in the cop station, if there's an interview, sign this, sign that. Just give them whatever they want. If it's there to give, then give it. But don't just give something without asking. So in other words, can you give me this? What do you mean by give? Do you mean blah blah? That's how you deal with it. Don't ever hand anything over without a question, without asking. You'll end up in the shitter.
Yeah. I'd say, what do you mean by that?
There you go. What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Right. Or I was thinking like, hey, if you want me to sign this paper, like, how would I understand what's on the paper until I meet whoever wrote it,
Spider-Man, keep it simple. Would it help if I put some ink on this paper?
Yeah. In other words, whatever you do, would it help? Does it help? If it helps, just go, if it helps. Whatever you're doing, always go by if it helps. So if you hear a question or a statement, always go if it helps. That's if you can stick to that, if it helps, and don't ever forget the two-letter word if. It's the most most profound letter in the whole of the whole of the English language, or any language you want to call it.
Why is that, brother?
Because I spoke to Darren and a lot of other people. For some reason, they somehow think if is a statement. It's the most delusional thing to think otherwise. If is basically opening up something into the possibility of, well, is it true? If it's this, if it's that, it's not implying or indicating that it is. Can anyone see that? So if you're going, if it helps, if it helps, or if you know, sit down. Yeah, if it helps, you know, always put if before a sentence, or is. You know, if you're going to say something, you just go, well, yeah, is it? If it may be, if I can, always, if you can, start using if. Very, very powerful question, and the judge hears it. Their ears incline. Sit down is an order. If it helps, stand up. If it helps. I'm the one who asks the questions around here. Or is that a question? See? Is that a question? Is. If. 2 letters. Change the whole assault of statement language into question. And if you can't hear or see the subtleties of it, well, you'll be meeting the hangman. And the hangman will await you until you start tuning into these subtleties of the is and the ifs. And this is a technology, this language. If you cannot use this language without these 2 little words, you're going to find the assault of this weaponized language. It's going to come raining down on you.
Love it.
I find that's the quickest way. I used to do that with the cops. I did it with them a number of times. You're going to sign here. You mean, would it help if I put some ink on that paper?
There you go. Would it help? Beautiful.
And they go, yeah. And I just put ink on it. I never claimed it was a signature.
I call that the slide by.
Yeah, never, ever use terminology like signature. Only in the court, it can only be done at a particular moment. Even signature, agreement, all that stuff. If you're talking to the judge in those that's all terminology. That's only when you ask the question in the very end to the informant or the claimant or the contradictor, whoever's there, that the judge is saying, well, you can ask the questions now to the informant. That's when you can ask, well, do you agree with that? You know, and is there a signed agreement between you and me on a piece of paper before the judge? Because you'll see all their documentation is a unilateral wet dream. Why? Because there's only one signature on the piece of paper. And if this is to do with you, where's the signature? Where's the signature that they're talking about? They've got all these other signatures on the paper. Well, where is the wet ink that allegedly was signed by you?
The slide by when, like, what's your name? I say, well, I believe the name is blah blah blah. What's your date of birth? Well, the date of birth is blah blah.
No, what's your name? What do you mean by your?
Fine. But if I say I believe the date of birth is blah blah blah, sometimes that's not good enough of a.
No, it's not good enough. I believe is I statement. As soon as you speak I statement, you're going into stepping before the I am. All right? And once you step in before the I am and the Father are one, possessor of the heaven and earth, now you receive the liability and the 9/10 of the law. Why? Because we started off with I believe. Okay?
Slide by.
Yeah. The date of birth I've been known to use, or
No, Batman doesn't deal with the possession straight up. The date of birth I've been known to use. That's a statement. He's using statements. Be wary. How do you know? Try it out. Don't listen to some arsehole like me. Try it out. See what happens. See what happens when you do it. That's the beauty of this so-called game, is if you're not out there doing it, well, you're going to be just preaching it.
right.
Like a cop asked me, so-called cop asked me if I had a license. I said, well, I believe.
No. Have you got a license? What do you mean by have? Instead of going into belief, I believe, I statements, me, see the I, see you got. Can you see how when the question, have you got a license, right? You is related with the identification of I and me, which is I is me, and you're talking to me. So I'm in the identification that you're talking to me, and I identify with who I believe I am. So now I open myself up for liability because I'm speaking from I am, because of he spoke about you, and you aligns itself with I am. Okay, I am, and I speak from the I am, which I am now the maker of the heaven and earth. Okay, I speak on behalf of the primal forces of the universe.
I believe I do. He says, you believe you have a license. I know if I have one or not. And I said, well, at the DM,
So even the copper goes, you believe? Yeah, they even asked you.
the DMV, they told me I did. So what's the guy to believe? And then
There you go. The copper goes, what's there to believe? Are we learning from these guys?
walked back to his car. I thought he was going to do some shit, but he drove off.
They need a claim.
They need a claim. What the claim is, you got a license, I believe, blah, blah, blah. That's a claim. That's a statement. They're all the same things. Statement, claim. There's thousands of, where do you want to go with all this?
B. And what you believe is not a claim.
There you go. And what you believe is not a claim. Could one be mistaken? Could that be one of the biggest transgressions that one could ever fall into? Is what you believe is not a claim. Can one prove that? Anyone on this call?
Like a landmine, stepping on landmines.
How can one prove anything, brother?
Well, when Batman just says that, that's where it's like on one hand he says one thing, and on the other hand he says another thing. He says don't make a claim, and at the same time he's preaching belief. So if you do not know what you're talking about in relation to belief, you're going to be put in a box, mate, and they're going to be sizing you up. I'm going to try and play that again so we can hear it properly.
It's what you believe. Well, in a sense, it's a claim, but it's a...
Listen to this.
Could it be? And what you believe is not a claim. It's what you believe. Well, in a sense, it's a claim, but it's a...
You see how he went back? In a sense, it's a claim. Well, if you're speaking it, hey, it's a claim. And if you don't know it's a claim, go out and start to speak, I believe, fucking bullshit. Start talking about what you believe. And let's see what happens. All right?
The claim that only you can prove.
How do you even prove that claim? Only you can prove. Who the fuck are you to preach to any centurion, copper, or anything about what you believe? That's perilous waters, boys and girls. As soon as you start talking to someone you do not know about what you believe, right? is treacherous, extremely treacherous waters. Do you want to go there?
It's protected under the maxim of you're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe or something like that, right?
I forget the maxims now. It's been so long since I looked through them.
I just paraphrase them anyway.
Boys and girls, the big problem is if you're a believer of your own, it's perilous. But if you believe together, yeah, right, you believe like brothers and sisters, we believe the same things. Well, there in the midst, I am, the Father and the possessor are one. There, where's the contest? All fine. But you start talking to an agent, you do not know who you're talking to, and you start preaching your belief to a anomaly, to an unknown force about what you think you believe. Ha! Good luck. Go for it.
But who's to argue with somebody's belief? Something along those lines, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but who's to argue? Why bring up argument before there's some agreement, before there's a meeting of the minds of the one before you? How are you going to have a meeting of the minds with an agent unless you know them? Do you know them? And before, why would you even talk to an agent that you don't even know? Do I know you? Why are you here? Why are you even talking to an agent? It's insane. You need a psych evaluation. You know, we're living in an outdoor asylum, as we once mentioned before, and now you need a psych evaluation in a padded cell.
But if you claim it's yours, your birthday, well, you just bought a claim before the court.
Yeah. You see, on one hand, Batman's saying, that's where I loved Batman for many years, but then I tried every single angle to the Batman stuff, and I exercised and worked at every single angle in court and all this, and it was the bit. Thank goodness for the Batman, because if I didn't go through the endless missing links to the Bat calls, there were so many things that were missing along the way. We wouldn't have filled the gaps in without going out there and doing this journey and finding out for ourselves, because Batman's only quarter, maybe half quarter of the picture. There's so much more of the picture that has not been coloured in, and if you want to go by the things that he's saying, you'll end up in jail, especially down here. Absolutely.
Simple as that. I've been told. I went round and round with him one night. Wanted a birthday, and well, I've been told it's all right, what do you mean? You know, what's your birthday? I won't own such a thing. You know.
Yeah, what's your birthday? What do you mean by your? It brings everything back to zero. Terminology, birth date. What do you mean by your? Brings it back to zero.
What day were you born? You mean, oh, you mean what my mother told me?
There you go. You mean? There you go. That works.
Right.
You know, it's hearsay. And I tell them, you know, the point of the matter is, you don't make any claims. All you can do is relay what you've been told and what you believe.
Huh. Being what you've been told and what you believe. Well, if I said what I believe, I remember I said, the judge goes, do you believe you use that name? And I go, yeah, because I'm going by Batman. All you can tell them is what you believe, right? And the judge showed me firsthand what happens when I ask that question. That question, I believe, right? I believe that I use that name. And guess what the judge did?
What's that?
I'll take that and slam the hammer down. In other words, jurisdiction. I did what the Batman said, and straight away I ended up with the liability and the bill.
Well, him saying I'll take that, already there's possession on his part.
No,
I'll take that.
Listen, mate, the judge goes by the preponderance of the evidence. You've got to listen to the judge. You slow it down. So the judge asked me the fucking question, okay? The question was, do you believe you use the name? And I'm doing the Batman thing. Yeah, I believe. Only thing you can say, only thing you can tell them is what you believe. Yeah, I believe that I use the name. Now, I made a statement in the court.
Right.
And then the judge goes, well, I'll take that now because you took it. You took belief. Now, I'm going to take it from you. And here's your bill. And here's your liability. And here's the whole fucking 9/10 of the law, boys and girls. You want to tell the court what you believe? You want to do the bat? Go for it. If I said I already went there and done all that and saw the consequence to tell them what you believe, fuck. Fuck, go for it. Right? These are the missing links, right? And without the Batman, would I have been able to discover any of this down the track? Fuck no. Right? But if you want to keep preaching this fucking bullshit, well, how far do you reckon it's going to get you? And I've been told, and I believe, they're all still I statements. Yeah. Why are you talking? Why are you talking in the court? This is like a setup. You're setting yourself up to burn by speaking this way. It's a good start. It's only a stepping stone, and the bat is a stepping stone. And the stepping stone is the sharks are swimming around you, and you will fall, and you will get your toes and your legs bitten off, and hopefully they grow back, for the next time around.
What it seems like you've seen, heard, touched, or felt, or I believe.
Yeah. And the thing of it is, with the driver's license, it's a fact to me. I believe I got use of one.
See, straight away, I believe I've got use of one. Right? That is just, it's if you're renewing the mind, it's heavily, if you start speaking this way down here, you'll be thrown in a box. They're going to take you away. How do I know? Have I done it? Have I done all this stuff? I loved it. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did everything Batman did, because how else would I have learned if I didn't speak like what he was talking about? I think it's fantastic.
I'm glad you did too, brother.
I'm glad that Batman was talking about, tell them what you believe and tell them what you've been told. Yeah, I love it, because I went in and the judge showed me that only through the judge showed me that I'm speaking, right, in division, and I'm speaking with the I am. And Batman speaks with the I am, and that's why it is the I am Batman 57, because he is the I am God of God. I am Batman 57.
Oh, wow.
He speaks from the I, which is the I am, and the Father are one, the possessor of the heaven and earth. That's how I see it. And it's the subtlety of this. Don't make a statement, don't make claims, but how do you demonstrate that? Because this stuff, without training ground, without actually getting out there and doing it, would I've learnt and gone from where Batman left and discovered and explored what we've unfolded where we're at today? No, fuck no.
But I fail to recall ever having a meeting of the minds with anyone.
I'll fail to recall again. A lot of the statement Batman talks about is the I statement. I fail to recall. Why speak in the why speak in the I statements?
Stating how I'm obligated to anything that has to do with that driver's license.
Yes, you're obligated. As soon as you bring up terminology, driver's license, you're obligated. That's right. In jurisdiction. That's why when they talk about, do you have a driver's license? You don't talk about driver's license. You just talk about the only thing you can bring up that's allowed in this whole universe. Why do I say such grandiose statements there? Well, if it's true, right, you ask about, what do you mean by have? Then you don't have to talk about the terminology of a license. Okay, does any of this make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, it does, bro.
Because Batman, if there was 100 steps, Batman's probably in the first few steps along the way, and then we're all doing steps along the way. And that's why it's all good, because it's the training ground.
And until I meet the one claiming such a thing, I mean, what the fuck do I care? How I'm obligated to anything that has to do with that driver's license.
You're obligated, 100%. And if this call's recorded, listen to it and ask yourself, why are you obligated? You're bringing up terms. In court, down here, you'll be fried. They'll put you on the oven and they'll burn your sorry ass because you've got knowledge. You're in possession of knowledge, terminology.
And until I meet the one claiming such a thing.
Hang on a minute. You're meeting the one claiming such a thing. This is the biggest delusion that we find it very hard to see. We're dealing with the one before us. They're the ones claiming, right, that you're in possession of the possessor's property. So you're not looking for this question. This question, hang on.
How I'm obligated to anything that has to do with that driver's license. And until I meet the one claiming such a.
Until I meet. Now, again, it's this question, until I meet. Guess what? You're never going to meet them. But this question, guess what this question does? It's the biggest head fuck of a question that one can ever come across. Until I meet the one. One may want to rephrase it. Because why?
Statement, isn't it a statement?
Until one meets, that's a statement. Yes, good pickup. Until one meets the claimant, right? Now, if I'm to put a message across, it's, first of all, who's ever going to meet the claimant, number one, and you're sending someone off on a goose chase. The mind and that question or that statement, until I meet the one who's claiming I made a claim, it's actually extremely unhelpful. That question, until I meet, what's the mind doing when you ask that question? Until I meet, is the mind looking everywhere? Is it looking for someone? Are you looking for someone with that question? Anyone there?
Seems like you
might
are.
even bring the person there. Until I meet, they might bring him before him next time.
This question, until I meet, is delusional. I'm trying to break it up for you, because I learned this in court. Why? Because you're looking for someone that's actually in front of you. You're not dealing with the one in front of you. You're going off on a tangent. You're looking for the witch hunt. You're looking for, until I meet the one, you actually need a psych evaluation, because you're never going to meet them, because the one you're not dealing with is the one in front of you.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah, until I meet the one claiming I made a claim. Well, okay, that's great, but what do you do with that? You can't do anything with that question. It's completely bamboozling and it's completely arse about. It's what
Put
do
it
you,
in the garbage.
in other words, what the fruitcake can you do with that question? Until I meet the one claiming there's a claim of possession, what do you do with that? What do you do with that question? It's absolutely, if you ask that, if you've got that question in the back of your mind down here, it's not only extremely problematic, the judge is always going to say, well, we're going to bring it to you. We'll get you to meet him. The judge is going to help you meet. The judge is going to help you meet everyone that you bring up. And the judge is going to bring in all the parties just for you because you're special.
I've got a visual of a fishing line with some bait on it and you're casting it out.
There you go. Until I meet.
Are you saying that you're willing to negotiate, basically?
Mate, am I saying anything or am I saying, is one even saying anything at all? But who is one actually talking to? Do you know who you're talking to when you're asking that question? Until I meet the one that's making these claims, who's one actually talking to? Does anyone know who they're talking to? That's the question. Why ask this question until I meet the one making the claim, where they're actually in front of you making the claims? If the one in front of you is making the claims, the accusations or whatever you want to call it, they're bringing a claim claiming that you've made a claim of possession, good. Deal with the one in front of you. Don't go asking until I meet the claimant.
Words are powerful.
It's going to end up, you can ask, oh, until I meet the claimant. I've heard it before. The judge said to me, oh, we'll bring the claimant in. And I said, what? Oh, whatever I brought up, oh, we're going to bring the contradictory in. We'll bring this one in, that one in, whatever you want. Yeah, we'll do this. Mate, they'll entertain every bit of, every single terminology that you want to bring up. They're going to bring it up, mate. They're going to match the programming that comes out of your mouth. And the programming is, until I meet the one claiming I've made a claim, that's a hell of a program. It's a hell of a program. Because you're not dealing with the one in front of you. You're going on a witch hunt. You're not dealing with the one in front of you when you ask that question. And I'm going to give you an example of that in a little bit later on, if it's possible.
I mean, what the fuck do I care?
What the fuck do I care?
You got these representatives out there that think they're working for somebody that has a legitimate claim over one using that license.
No, they have legitimacy, right? Their role is basically to see if you've got rights. Their role is to violate you. Their role is to get a rise out of you. Their role is to basically bring a claim, claiming you've made claims. That's their role. What's the issue? Well, what issue? If you're asking the question in front of them, you're asking the proper questions. Do I know you? Why are you here? Do you agree with that? You figure out how these so-called interactions, how quickly and how quickly they disappear. As soon as you start talking to them, until I meet the claimant, fuck man.
But in reality, until they show up, could it be it's all just a fucking illusion?
Well, the illusion is right in front of you. They're talking to you. How are you going to deal with the illusions of what one's speaking about? This is a headfuck 101, boys. Unless you're out there fucking doing this, it's gonna mentally fuck you up. And I can only say that why. Did I go out there and do this? Did the judges go out and tell me, do you believe you used the name? I'm going to tell them what I believe. Yes, I do believe I used the name. Bang goes the hammer down. I'll take that, says the judge. Holy shit. I took belief. The judge took it straight out off me because I was a greedy little prick. I told him what I believed. Yeah. Keep telling them, boys and girls. Keep telling them whatever you believe. That's what you can do. Tell them what you believe. Who's going to argue otherwise? Well, for fuck's sake. You go straight into argument. Who's going to argue? Again, you're looking for anyone wants an argument? Let's fight. This is all fucking warfare language. Come and fight me is what you're saying with this language. Come and fight me. Thank you to the one speaking this. This is great. Would you fucking learn it if you didn't learn the art of warfare? Coming straight out of that pie hole.
And if you stay on point, they realize that.
Oh, you stay on point. Well, is it really on point? Right? When you're making when you say don't make claims at the same time make claims. I mean, you know, is there a delusion? Is there something delusional there?
Inconsistency too.
And they'll do the right thing.
And they'll do the right thing. Of course they'll do the right thing, and they'll put you in the jail. Hey, guess what? How do I know that? Because it works down here. They put you in jail, boys and girls. Just do the Batman thing. I love Batman. Just keep doing it. Yeah, I love it. You stay on point. You go to jail.
I like what you said about the name. Like, yeah, well, that's the name I was told is mine. So allegedly, instead of like, you know, playing the so-called name game and stuff, just head it off with, well, that's what I was told. So, you know, if you want me to present hearsay evidence or, you know,
rather than saying I was told, right? You could say, well, if I was told, put an if in front of the statement. I was told. I'm yet to be told. You could say, I'm yet to be told about these things, Judge. If someone could tell me about these charges, Your Honour, how can I make a plea unless someone told me about these charges, Your Honour? Yeah? How can you make a plea if you don't know you were there? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Birthday, man. How the hell do you know, man? The day I was born, I didn't even know what time meant. Could it be? I didn't know what a date was, a calendar. What the fuck was that? When you was just born, did you have a clue? I mean, you looking for me to perjure myself, claim I knew something?
Yeah, why bring up perjure? Why bring up all those things? If you're coming from no knowledge, right? You've just brought up quite a few bits of terminology there.
For me to perjure myself, claim I knew something?
See, perjure, claim, know, knew. Anything you bring like this stuff up in court, it's all terminology. The judge is there to entertain it. Entertainment is another word for the judge goes on the preponderance of the evidence. So the evidence is what comes out of the mouth. That's evidence. So if you want to know what evidence is, it's terminology. That's another word for evidence. It's evidence that can be used against you, right? And basically prosecuted. You now open yourself up for prosecution because the terms, the words that are uttered out of that mouth, right? It's there. Is it there as evidence, right? To prosecute, persecute, and God knows where else you're going to go with that.
Like I say, could it be true? You need not prepare. I look at it as you need not prepare until you meet the claimant. And it's,
you better be prepared. You need not until you meet the claimant. And if I said, boys and girls, as soon as you ask, and if I said this first-hand experience, if I said I actually went to the court and would ask Where's the claimant? Is there a claimant? And the judge, you know what the judge basically said? He goes, using your terminology. All right. Now, without the judge showing me this, think I would have found out what the hell's going on here? Yeah? So if you want to keep following a guru or whatever, someone is preaching this stuff, great. I do love the Batman, yeah. But hey, down here, I don't think you'd last a day on the firing line. You'd be locked up pretty soon, very, very quickly.
Same goes for why you're worrying. Have you met anybody making the claim yet?
Why talk about have you met anyone? Because have you met anyone, first of all, is possessive term, right? Have you met anyone? You're seeking out warfare. You're seeking out someone. It's like it took me many years to figure out this kind of language, boys and girls, because have you met anyone? Yes, you're looking for the meeting of the minds, but I'm going to share with you what the meeting of the minds is a little bit later, as I mentioned, because the meeting of the minds is happening right in front of you. It's astounding. And unless if you've got a copper or someone in front of you and you're talking like this until I met the claimant, okay. As soon as you start talking about meeting the claimant, you're going off course instead of actually dealing with the agent in front of you. He's the one you've got to deal with. No one else. Everyone else is just a fucking. You're going down a rabbit warren. You're going down the road, a path of fucking peril and bullshit. You're off path. This kind of talk, it takes you off path because you're looking. Have I met? Well, where are they? Who are they? Who's this? Who's the claimant? Where's the claimant? Who? Where? It's like your eyes are starting to go in circles. You're looking. What do you know what they look like? Why are you even asking that question? How do you know? How do you know what the fucking claimant is? What the fuck do you know about any of that shit? For fuck's sake.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah, like you're going off on a fucking mass tangents. Can you hear me there, Dominion?
Loud and clear, brother. Sounding great.
Look, these are good. These are not for pointing the finger and blaming anyone. This is first-hand experience in actually how to unfuck the unfuckable. Yeah, this is hacking them thyself. And without the Batman, man, you think it would be possible to hack this shit? Fuck no, you'd be stuck in this paradigm and it would be very hard to come out of.
That's right.
So if there's more of these, bring them on. We'll go through them. I fucking love this shit.
Anybody threatening evidence? They got first-hand testimony against?
Now, I love this shit because he's going, is there any evidence? Ha! Guess what? As soon as you bring up evidence, guess what? You're bringing up terminology again. And guess what?
He's playing the judge.
Now, guess what the question was by the judge? I asked the question, you got any evidence on this? And the judges go, well, you're providing it. You're providing it. Why? You're using your terminology. You're providing evidence, you dumb fuck.
The judge is saying, you're trying to do my job.
Yeah, and I don't need to do anything. You're doing fine on your own and my hands are tied. Sorry, I'll give you the bill now and I'll take you to jail. That's how simple it is. Fucking hell, man. This is unreal.
Yeah. Until then, man, what's there to worry about?
What's there to worry about?
Evidence. They got first-hand testimony against you yet?
As soon as you go evidence, you got any first-hand testimony and evidence? Well, yeah, they do. Terminology is first-hand evidence, first-hand experience. You want to talk that to the judge? You get the bill. That's how it is down here.
Until then, man, what's there to worry about? What's there to
worry about? I guess there's nothing to worry about in a padded cell.
Be afraid of?
What are you going to be afraid of? It's all right. It's about as hard as it gets. Padded cell.
2-minute noodles.
A cot and 2-minute noodles. That's it.
Huh? Fair. False evidence appearing real.
False evidence appearing real. Really? Is that what it is? false evidence appearing real? Could fear just be another word for I'm in possession? I took property, I took terminology, I took a program, I took a word, a term, I took something that doesn't belong to me. Is that all I did? Is that why there's fear in the body? Because I've taken something, don't belong to me? I took something without asking? Yeah? Do you believe you used that name? Oh, yes. Bang. As soon as I made the statement, I believe. Well, now you're a believer. You're a greedy little fucking swine, a pig that's on the spit, and it needs to be fucking cooked real well. Okay? And that's a swine, a pig who takes from the Father, the possessor of the heaven and earth.
Even in the form of just a belief.
Yeah.
Right on.
Belief is fucking peril, mate. You want to believe shit? Who are you to believe anything? And who fucking, you know, what led you to believe fucking anything? And who are you to believe fucking anything? What makes you think, you know, what led you to fucking and take such a thing for you to believe stuff? What do you know about belief? Start unfucking the mind and start looking at what the fruitcake is belief. Maybe you start to look at, holy shit, why do I keep talking about belief? Yeah. Because belief, right? Once you start believing, you're in possession, right? It's to have. You believe that you're confident that it's truth, exists.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That makes sense.
You believe it's something you can rely on. You're fucking delusional, you know, and yet you've got no fucking proof that one is right or wrong or whatever, and yet you believe you got rights, right? You're in possession. You got faith of something truth. It's a truth, and yet you got there's no actual. It's baseless. You've just either heard it. It's hearsay, and you're convicted by it. You're making an assumption that you understand something. What? That's belief. Why? Why go into belief?
Digging a hole.
You're digging a hole. That's right. Keep going this way. If it's working for you.
Huh? Could it be?
Could it be?
Does one get over the false evidence appearing real in one's life, Balmir?
The more you focus on what's happening around you, I mean, I realized back in the day, I don't have anxiety like I used to. When I started realizing, and I've been to court, I used to get anxiety over going to court and stuff, have a hard time sleeping, especially at the time I was looking at 6 years in prison. But I never went 6 years in prison. It never fucking happened.
Yeah, that's don't forget this was a very, very long time ago, and I've known Batman probably for a good 20 years from now, I would say. And that's the same. He was going to go to prison for 6 years, and I was going to go to prison for 16, 17 years.
Shit.
So that's what we're looking at, boys and girls, right? So, and that's by scrutinising every single term, every single assumption over the, you know, this is a way of life. This is something that you there's nothing else you got to live for, because you're going to break this all down to particles, right?
You know what I mean? I was worried about something that never fucking happened. And it's dawned on me when I realized, wow, if I just stayed on point, I wouldn't even paid them fines.
What fines?
You know what I mean? I'm the one who created the fear. I'm the one who made the claim. I'm the one who accepted the offer. When I realize I'm the one that can deal with that, the fear starts going away more and more and more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can go along with that, but how do you demonstrate that? How do you, you know, is there actual examples of this? That's the bottom line to all of this talk.
Every now and then, I might get a little that old feeling, but I think about it, what the fuck? And it goes away real quick. You know what I mean? It's just, You know, you've been programmed to be fearful. Get over it.
Well, you don't just get over it unless you go into training of this, and the training is to unfuck yourself on a daily basis. Bring all terms into subjection. Bring all thoughts into subjection to the designer, to the maker. It's you know, get over it. Really.
Bust through it. Bust through it.
How do you get over it? Is take possession. So that's renewal of the mind. So if it's all the property of the possessor, well, what am I doing? Yeah, get over it. How do I actually get over it if I've just taken it? This is the head fuck we're looking at.
Yeah, so awareness of the moment and observation is the antidote to that.
Yeah, it's assuming. You're assuming something bad's going to happen. You know, it's unless you assume. Enjoy the moment.
Yeah. So assumption, presumption, belief, it's all the same. You go into belief, you're going into assumption. You're going into assumption, you're going into belief. It's all the same. Same.
Unless the fear goes away. That makes sense?
Well, the fear goes away when you empty out the fucking trash between your ears and you go, fucking, what's to assume or what's to believe? What do I know about belief? You know, what's that? Even bring it back. Instead of the term of belief, you bring it back to THAT. What's that?
Yes.
Huck drop though. But yeah, it's a change. It's a change. I say it's more like getting back to the original programming. You know what I mean?
The original programming is the who, what, where, when, why, and how. Shoot from the hip. Listen. Yeah. Why? What do you mean? How do you see things that way? How did you come to that conclusions? Yeah, come back to the simple questions. The original program until you started speaking from statements.
Little children, man, unless they got mean old moms and dads, are pretty peaceful. You know? And until they start getting programmed by those around them, the moms and dads of the world, the school teachers, you know, programming, indoctrination.
Yeah.
And if you start believing all that crap, well, then you start assuming. And then the next thing you know, you're fearful of an illusion.
Yeah, and that's the taking, fearful of the illusion, you're taking possession, right? Because if you're looking at what belief is, you're in possession. Simple as that. In possession of an idea, of a thought, of a term, or whatever it may be, you're engaging in it, entertaining it, right? Believe that it was given to you and you took it, right? You made the assumption to understand something that what do you know about it? And you think you understand it. Now, that's what you call delusional. So you're taken off. So this is an example of you're hearing something by without scrutiny, you inserted it into yourself by believing it, right? And then once you've inserted it, you've adopted it as your own. And then you start preaching and telling everyone else how the fuck it works, thinking that you know shit, right? Yeah, spread it along, just like a virus.
You see, that makes sense?
Yes.
I think that's
Stay on point, boys and girls. It's all good. The intention, I believe the main point is the intention to do what's the best for everyone.
Now, I've heard that for years, the intention and what's the best for everyone. And that, again, is got to be the biggest, oh, my gosh, I really do wonder where he comes up with that. But down here, intention is basically, intention is about what are you going to do? It's going to, your intention's got to do with picking a side. Once you pick a side, you've now entered into warfare. You've entered into commerce. So intention in this part of the world, I don't know about how it is over where you are, but how did I learn this? I learned this from the system that was talking just like Batman. He says, and they were talking about what's your intention, and that's what Batman talks about. And except Batman has a completely different way of looking at it. But if you did what the Batman does, you'd go into jail down here, which is great because then you'd learn about what really intention is about. And as soon as you hear the terminology of intention, it's possession 101. In the intention to pick a side, to take possession of a red pill, blue pill, what the fuck pill, yeah? What pill do you know you're taking, yeah? So possession intention is all about picking a side, and you're in possession of knowledge, knowing the difference between good and bad, right and wrong, which is the tree of knowledge. That's intention, which is all about possession, which is 9/10 of the law, which is basically what's the best for everyone. The best for everyone is for you to go to jail. That's what the best for everyone is. Okay? So everything that is spoken there, I don't know if anyone can hear me on this call, but what's the best for everyone? It's the best for everyone is for you to go to jail, right? For let's say 5 years to start with. That would be the best for everyone. Because who the fuck, what do you know about the best for everyone? Right? Unless you've met everyone and you've spoken to everyone, do you know everyone? Why are you talking about what's the best for everyone? Do you know everyone? It's delusional talk. You're talking in legion and many. You're talking in multitudes when you're talking about everyone. What's the best for everyone? What do you know about everyone? You must be God. Did you speak to everyone? Dominion, do you speak to everyone? Have you spoken to everyone on this planet?
I've been trying to for a long time, brother. It seems a little hard.
Well, what's the best for everyone? I mean, come on.
Who can know?
What the hell is that question? What's the best for everyone? Down here, it's the best for everyone is that you go to jail. And everyone is very excited that you go to jail. They're very happy that you go to jail because this is how it is. They don't want them to go to jail. They want you to go to jail. That's the best for everyone. So it's the opposite. Whatever you're talking about, whatever the bat's talking about, it's the biggest head fuck. A 101. If you want to talk what's the best for everyone, put a gun to your head and fucking press the fucking trigger. That's the best for everyone.
And why do you say that's the best for everyone? To pull the trigger or to go to jail? Why is that the best?
Why ask what's the best for everyone? This question, what's the best for everyone? What do you do with that question? Right? I think the only thing that Batman might be talking about when you're asking what's the best for everyone is by asking the question. I'd be asking why you even ask this question, what's the best for everyone? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Right?
Perhaps that's the best way he can try to show positive intent. Like he says, it's all about the intent for him. So
yeah, but intent. Yeah, but is there another way of demonstrating this? Because look, I think with the Batman, there's no actual examples. There's just a lot of talk, and that's why I found these calls with him for many years. They're going in circles because what do you do with them? Tell me. I'd like someone to know. I'd like to ask anyone who's known the Bat over the years. Which look, I love the Bat, but hey, I want to know how is it helpful? What's the best for everyone? What do you do with that? What does it look like? What can you do with that? What's the best for everyone?
There can't be a best for everyone because we're all so individual and unique.
Well, what do you know unless you spoke to the arsehole who fucking believes such a thing as what's the best for everyone? I mean, it's again fucking delusional. What else is it? What's the best for everyone? What's the best for everyone? You don't. What do you know about everyone other than the one who's before you?
Right.
That's all you know. You don't know everyone. Why are you talking about everyone?
Why are we even worried about everyone?
Yeah.
If we're in front of one or two, you know?
You only know how to talk to one or two, two at tops people in front of you. And once it gets third, they've heard something different to what you're talking about. So really all you can do is talk to the one in front of you, and that's really all you can do.
In the now moment.
Yes. And when you're talking for the best for everyone, that's I call that padded cell kind of. You need some padded cell time.
Yes. Reflection.
Yeah, it's reflection. Everyone. That's legion.
Correction.
Legion. That's I call that legion talk. Legion programming, because it's to do with many, and everyone's got to do with many and everyone.
Where we go one, we go all. BS.
Yeah, but what what's this? The needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. I used to wonder what the hell was that all about. What do you know about needs? Unless you talk, it all comes back to the one in front of you. Everything comes back to how you're going to deal with the one in front of you, and that is a copper or whatever. How are you going to deal with them? I'll give you an example very, very shortly.
And focus on that. And
now,
some people may not see.
I focused a lot on this stuff, and believe me, I did focus for many years on the Batman stuff. But if I didn't go out and put all this to the test, holy shit, what's the use of any of this crap if you can't live it?
The way I do things is that, but that's me. It's a personal problem. Anyway.
All right, I think that's done. Thanks for that, Dominion. That was good. But at the same time, no cigar. If you're looking for a cigar, sorry, mate, you don't cut the mustard here with that sort of. If you want to go down that sort of discussions, that's why there's. If you've got a lot of talk without actual examples and first-hand experiences on a daily basis, that's where we started to realise, okay, how are we going to study? How are we going to study the very system that studies us? And the system is the ultimate guidebook to the prodigal son in how to come back to the designer, the maker of all of this. And without one another bringing in these examples, these are examples to scrutinise. They're not examples to point the finger. They're examples of scrutiny, right? Because the love for one another is not a love for the other, how much they know or whatever bullshit they're talking about. It's a love for one another in how do I put this? Not in what you think you know, but if there's the love on the heart, which I believe in Batman he has, that's all that matters. But whether it helps in a real life example, well, that's another story altogether. Yeah, that's completely another reality. So if you can't apply any of this fucking shit to the day-to-day living, well, you keep listening to the same garbage all the fucking time. It's only going to send you in a nut house for longer. That's all.
Yep.
Anything else? Dominion, you there?
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. The bat helped me, man, mentally. You know, I mean, improve relationships, day-to-day thinking. So
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like you say, it was definitely an incredible building block, brother. You know, but I could tell that there was, you know, likewise, there's so much anger there. You know what I mean? Like I knew there was something that was missing, and so to hear you put pieces like this together, it and like you said, apply real life application to the agents, because it was theory about the agents, and it was still things you could apply in your day-to-day life, but it was all theory concerning agents. So for you to take it, so for you to use that and then go into practical application, that was like the final missing piece for me as it concerns the bat information. So I mean, I appreciate that review right there. That was beautiful.
And that's why it's the love for one another is we're here to help and uplift one another, rather than if you hear things good or bad. Most probably if there's things that people like gossiping and hearsay and all that shit about others, well, unless if it's uplifting, then say it. If it's not, then why say it at all? Because look, you know, is it true without one, without all of us, if we don't stick together like the agents do, they stick together. What are they doing? We're not doing. That's the same with the bat. We stick together, and we all learn this, and connect the dots and start putting the picture together. And then we go, wow, the picture is so clear now. And yet we've just been blinded for so long because possession blinds us. And once we're in possession, it's like scales are over the eyes. We actually can't see other than just the horrendous foggy. It looks foggy everywhere we're looking. We're in fog. So if it helps, I like that. That was good. And thanks to that. And as I said, this isn't a scrutinisation to point finger at a fellow brother. This is to look at examples of, if I speak this way, what's going to happen? Yeah? And go out and do it. Did I go out and do it? Is the proof in the pudding? I went and what the judge started to correct me from all of this. Well, I'd want to either be corrected or get thrown in jail, get thrown in the box. Okay, I'll get thrown in the box and whinge my way and go, oh, these judges are all corrupt. Yeah, so what? I gave them reason for me to be put in the box because of the mouth. It was putrid. You know, I defile myself, testifying against myself, speaking from what I believe, speaking from what I was told. Who are you to say anything without the if and without the is? Right? How am I to know about any of these so-called things, charges, unless one told me about what any of this is? I'll never forget it when a judge told me, how the hell can you put a plea in and not know that you were there? Oh, mate. Thank you, Mr. Judgy Wudgy. That's just what I needed to hear. Are you saying I was there? Fuck. They can't even verify where and when. Imagine that. Crazy, crazy stuff. What else did you want to go through, brother?
Well, I mean, I had mentioned that Yusef arraignment one, but if that takes us too far off track, you could always share the thing that you had as well, brother.
No. Oh, yeah. All right. Look, I'll just quickly go through. I'm going to go through it. It's pretty short, so I'll go through it, and then we'll go through the other one. I've got a little bit of time here. Where are we? Oh, yeah. Okay. So, where are we? Okay. Okay. So we've got a couple of people on the call here, Tony, TM Hawks, Gypsy and Money and Pete. You may hear me. Send some indication there that you're hearing me. So I'm just going to play a recording, just the simplicity of how things working down here, actual examples. If you want to hear it.
Yes, sure.
All right.
Thank
if
you.
Can hear it. This is how it goes. Straight up, the copper goes, "Hi there, how you going?" Right? All right, this is what I'm about to share. I'm doing a dictation or a an actual audio, but I'm going to speak it as I hear it.
All right, buddy.
Okay, he says straight away. The copper pulls you over. He goes, "Hi there, how you going?" Oh, he says, "You got your license there? Thanks. What do you mean by got?" Straight off the bat. You hear that, boys? You got your license there. What are you going to say? What do you mean by
What do you
God?
mean by God?
Now that's it. And we were talking about this before on the bat thing, yeah?
Right.
As soon as you go into license, it's agreement because it's terminology, knowledge, okay? So if it helps, and if it's on you, open the wallet and ask him, is that what you're looking for? Fuck, hang on a second. So he'll go, the address, that's your current address. What do you mean by your? Yeah. So the proposition is always there. They come there and they go, the such and such address, is that your current address? What do you mean by your? Fairly simple question, mate. Anyone hearing this? It's a fairly simple question, mate. This is how they talk down here, right? It's a fairly simple question, mate. Is that your current address? He's going to repeat it 3, 4 times until he extracts something out of that pie hole. Once again, fairly simple question. Once again, it's a fairly simple question. Is that your current address? What do you mean by your? Has anyone gone off astray yet? They're going to ask 3, 4, 5 times. Can anyone handle it? Fuck. Let's start this shit, mate. Don't start this shit. Can you believe it? That's how they talk down here. Don't start this shit with me, mate. So he says, don't start this shit with me. How are you gonna deal with that? Do I know you?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, even better. Do I know you? Don't start that shit with me. What do you know about shit? Unless you've discussed shit with him prior to this conversation. Do I know you? Don't go into terminology of shit because you'll turn into shit. And then he goes, I go, do I know you? And he goes, you're about to. Oh, am I? Am I to get to know you? Eh? You're about to get to know me. Oh, will I? And then he goes, why are you here? And guess what? The officer, what do you think he's doing? He's going in circles. He goes back around the car talking to his collaborator, going back around the car, sniffing. Okay? Dogs of war, they're there to sniff. Sniff out your asshole. Sniff anything that's coming out your way. Okay, driving a motor vehicle. This is what he says. Okay, driving a motor vehicle. Now required to provide a sample of your breath. What do you mean by your? You hear me? Right, so the first thing, they ask you to do something. Do I know you? Okay. Down here, everything's... They do drug tests down here. So everything... So the reason why they're here to talk to you, there's a reason. We need to talk to you. Okay? How are you going to answer that? The reason we're going to talk about your load or your such and such. Now, when you ask, what do you mean by your, it brings all the reason and the talk. Where do you think it brings it to?
Back to neutral.
Back to zero. They've got to start again. Now, once again, you've got to, you haven't. And he's starting to stutter. Once you start to stutter, that's a glitch in the system, boys and girls. If you cannot hear the glitch in the system, when you're asking possession, it's a glitch in the system. Okay? The glitch is possession. What do you mean by God? What do you mean by have? What do you mean by your? You can't have. What do you mean by have? See? He's trying to send a message or a doctrine or a belief, what you can, what you can't do. Do I know you? Where's the agreement? Do I know you? Where did I hear that? I think I heard that from the judge once say, why are you talking to him? Do you know these people? No. Why are you talking to him? Here's your bill now, you dickhead. You just think you know shit. I'm trying to help you out. Obviously, you don't want to help yourself out by listening, do you? What's it going to take for you boys and girls to stop talking? Stop talking out of that pie hole. Hang on. There's a few gaps, so I'm just listening, so bear with me. Oh, crikeys, come on, guys. Now, they just spend walking around, they got their tape, they're looking at this, they're looking at that, and they've got to get you to believe. Yeah, they've got to tell you what they believe so that you start believing what they believe. Once you believe what they believe, wow, what do you think we got? What do you think we've just happening? What's going to happen now once you believe what they believe? Anyone? No one on the call. Must be talking.
Oh yeah, I'm here, brother.
Agree.
What's going to happen when you start believing what they believe?
There's an agreement, right?
You're going to hang yourself.
Yeah, hang yourself. That's right. That's it. They got to get you to believe, take possession, get you to believe what they believe. Here he comes.
trailer that's back there, Chief, is that for private use?
Now, the trailer back there, is that for private use?
I'll tell you if you tell me.
Now, they want to know, is it private or public? Like, I'll tell you if you tell me what it is. Are you going to enter into a discussion with these boys? Give it a go. Talk to the wolves. It's pretty simple. It's plain English. Do I know you? Listen to this.
Are you using it for private use or for work? Sorry?
See? Do I know you?
Do I know you?
Guess what? He goes quiet. Yeah. Imagine a copper going quiet when you're asking, do I know you? Every time. Why are you here? Do I know you? Why are you here? What do you mean by have? What do you mean by your? What do you mean by get? Do I know you? Why are you here? Oh, God, this is retarded stuff. Come on. What is there anyone? It's a simple question. Why are you here? Guess what? I'll be back again. There's just nothing he can do. He's just going back to his car, to type into the mothership of the universe. Mothership, what do we do with this asshole? Holy shit. All right, just process your claim. If you believe there's a claim, put the claim through in the wooden idol form and go from there.
Why, Daniel, why is it such a problem? You said it's a glitch in the matrix. Why is it a glitch in the matrix for you to speak about possession to them unless they're fully aware that they're seeking some sort of possessive claim?
When I say there's a glitch in the system, they don't know how to, we see that no man knows it. Yeah? In other words,
They don't know how to respond.
Who can verify nor deny that there is a possessor of the heaven and earth? And yet, when you're asking it, does everyone feel it? Yeah? What do you mean by have? What do you mean by God? What do you mean by your? Yeah? It's the unspeakable. It's like the invisible
It's a hot potato.
It's like the hot potato. Yeah, good point. And it's like when you, if I've said to you boys, if I said to you boys and girls, when I was once upon a time in an interview room where they were setting me up to go away for 16, 17 years, there's an actual video of me asking the question, what do you mean by your? And the guy, he's literally in front of me, he's passing me all these documents over to me, and he goes, you know, do you understand this? And I go, am I to understand by that? I didn't go this or by that one agrees to these terms. Now, what do you imagine he just did? Those papers, do you think they stuck with me or they went back to him?
Return to sender.
Someone seems to be clicking onto this. So it went back to him. So possession is verified in the moment. No place else. And if there's no possession charges, and these guys are the ones in possession, and then the judge goes, where are the possession charges, arsehole? Well, now there's a problem. Houston, we've got a problem, right? Where's the possession charges? As soon as he tries and says anything, do I know you? Right? Do I know you? Now, this guy, he asked one question each time, and then he had to go back to the mothership. He comes back, right? He asks a few possession questions, and then he asks, you know, he starts to preach the doctrine. Do I know you? Then he's got to go back to the mothership. 4 times he's got to go back and forward.
Phone a friend.
Well, the mothership's trying to talk to these guys. They can bring 200,000 UFOs down in a split second, and you won't know what hit you. Down in this part of the world, I don't know how it is with you boys and girls. but they fall from the sky. These the Legion, they just appear out of nowhere. I'm not joking. There's like 100,000. There's like 1,000. What do you call it? Your guardian agents. They fall from the sky and they're just for you. Just for you.
They're all waiting around the corner just for
They just fall out of the sky, mate. You don't know where they come from. They just arrive there right there, split second. They're the most efficient. They're the most efficient agencies on this planet. Our Legion. They're the most efficient. The most inefficiencies are the Goyim, the people. They're the most inefficient and most divided of all things. But these agents, holy shit, do they work incredibly well. Unbelievably so.
And fast.
Fast. Speeding like lightning. Do I know you? You're assuming that you already know what they're talking about. You know, the propaganda has gotten to you. Once you start to verify that the propaganda has gone into your brain, it's game on. That's why, do I know you? What the fuck are we talking about? You know the police, you know this. You fucking start talking.
When such things are, it's right. Exactly me saying that and talking.
So we're nearly there. Such a simple interaction, boys and girls, and it was all over. Here, the whole thing was done in about 3 minutes, but you won't believe it. And in the end, because he had to spend 10 other minutes doing what he does, and then in the end he comes back and he goes, "Here's your license," and then he tries to do something, and we go, "Do you agree with that?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I do," and just drops off whatever the license, and then off he goes. It's just it's incredibly simple, boys and girls, but is it easy? Well, that's another thing. It's not so easy. So this is the interaction that is going on quite often in this part of the world, and you want to be careful talking. It might be okay initially to talk to the coppers and record yourself and to see what a disaster I am. That's always good to start off with the nightmare that we are and go from there. Because without these brothers, without these people working in this way, how would you be able to sharpen the sword? How would you learn from them? This is training ground. How else is one to be on point, as the bat would be saying? Be on point. He's not asking for the claimant because he's right in front of you. Why go looking for the fucking claimant? Claiming there's a claim of you taking possession where he's right in front of you. What the fruitcake's that all about? He's right in front of you. Is that too difficult to grasp or conceive, boys and girls? How are you going to deal with the one in front of you instead of asking who and I'm yet to what is it? Something about meeting the claimant. Oh fuck, man, it's just endless. Once you start looking, they're going to provide you with whatever you imagine. So yeah, so there you go. That was the interaction. That happened really quick.
Hey, Boon.
Yeah.
Over here in the States, like, people tend to tell the police that they don't wish to answer any questions. What's your take on that?
Well, my take, if anything, is it mine to take? Well, first of all, if anyone says I don't answer questions, is that what they're saying?
Yeah, I see it a lot.
Yeah. Well, eventually it's going to change as things get tighter and tighter around the world. People who don't answer questions or don't actually know how to consider that offer, they'll be going to jail. Because that's resisting. You're in resistance. You're going against the primal forces of nature. You need to be locked up, thrown into a psych evaluation. Sounds funny, doesn't it?
It's true, but
there you go, boys. Did you hear that? There might be someone on this call who goes, holy shit, you know, I don't answer questions. Well, you certainly will. What did the judge say to one of the brothers? Because you've answered, I don't answer to these questions. You're going to answer the papers now. And you're going into the fucking box until you answer the questions. I don't answer these questions. Is that an answer? You've just answered. Any more of those examples?
Thank you for the clarification from your perspective.
Oh.
I mean, it might work here, may not work there. Who knows, right?
Well, it's not, it might work here, it might work there. It's like, why speak that way? That's like saying, what's the best for everyone? You know, why speak that way? I don't answer questions. Well, first of all, it's I don't is a negative averment, right? Whatever that means. A negative means you're in objection. You're objecting to the natural forces, to the flow of nature. If you want to be a nature lover, anything that's of a negative, don't, can't, stop, no, you're resisting. You're resisting the primal forces. You're in.
So saying I don't wish to answer any questions, would that wouldn't be any different, I guess.
Ah, because you're using I don't, and you're speaking from I am.
Okay.
When you speak from I am, down here, you go to the box.
Reflection time.
What?
Get you some reflection time.
Yeah. You got some time to think about how much rights you believe you've got.
So are you saying it's better to consider each thing that's said instead of make a broad statement saying I'm not going to answer anything?
Every single proposition that is heard from the ear, that's spoken from the mouth of man, every proposition, right, needs to be considered very, very carefully. But the foundation to this, anything one says, anything you say or do may be used as evidence, because they will use it as evidence, because evidence is a word that's coming out of the mouth. And when you go don't, that's evidence. You're resisting. You're resisting.
Belligerent.
Yes, you need to be taken down, and you need to be investigated. What else is he in possession of? Has anyone ever been arrested and been told that you're resisting arrest?
Yep.
Yeah, because we've identified to the I am program of myself, and I've been violated. So I'm in resistance to the one before me who's violating me. I don't like being molested in intercourse and all the rest that's going on, because I'm creating the intercourse. I'm creating for them to fuck me in whichever way I speak. Yeah, it's a rude awakening, but we bring it on ourselves.
What do you think about complete and total silence, brother? Just curious.
Well, anything you say or do. So I say something, I don't say something. I'm still guilty, right? So what's left?
Ask questions.
Considering.
Oh, imagine that. Must be the only thing that's that is the third door in this universe is come as a child. Do you think a child comes with a statement or a question?
Right.
Have you ever met a 3-year-old child start talking to you like how things are, and start talking to you about life and you know and what it thinks it knows, or is it asking questions? Geez, mummy, why the watermelon in the belly, or why is the sky so blue, or whatever little basic words they use, you know. Once I heard from a judge speak to a little child, and the judge says to the child, "What do you believe your mummy is guilty or not guilty? And the child goes, oh, my mummy is Amanda, or whatever her name was. And the judge goes, oh, that's beautiful. Because the child doesn't know what guilty is. He just thinks it's another name, another word. Yeah, but once you become smart, now you know what guilty is. Guilty is just another word for another name. What do you know what guilty is? You start bringing up terminology. It's starting to speak out of that mouth that you've been known to use.
Keep the innocence of a child.
Yeah, a child. Ask yourself, would a child be speaking this way? Or you ask the questions. I reckon a child, I've been around a few kids and, well, they're getting worse and worse nowadays. A lot of kids like to think they know shit. Do you know nowadays, and it's starting to happen more and more in this country, the children are so indoctrinated from such a young age, which nothing wrong with the doctrine, but they've taken on these beliefs so young. Now the children are actually starting in this country they're going to jail. Like, can you believe it? They're actually getting in more trouble now, the children, because they've got a mouth that is extremely wretched. And the mouth of the children today, it's like never, ever. I don't think it's ever been. Now they can be convicted in all sorts of things. And it's getting younger and younger. It used to be like, I don't know, was it 16 or 15? Now it's like 9 and younger.
Why do you think that is, brother?
Well, they're deemed as qualified. Well, it's because once you start taking possession, you're qualified. You're now qualified to deal with the primal forces. In other words, you're qualified to be prosecuted because you're in possession of knowledge. You know something. Simple as that.
Right. As soon as you lose the innocence of childhood, like Gypsy said, boom, now you know something.
That's right. That's right. And that's where now it's I don't know if I've ever heard it before, but it seems to be happening more and more in this part of the world. The mouth, it's so contaminated with the poisons from that, you know, the poisonous water is like the tree of knowledge, just drinking and drinking that stuff. And the mothers and the fathers are heavily pushing the children into this identification, and the school system and God knows what else. The minds have become sick very, very young. Instead of continuing with the first program, the first program has been completely squashed, and the second program of man has been the uptake has been extremely successful in this part of the world.
So you still think it's a positive thing for the children to be exposed to this program, and you're just saying they're buying into it for some reason instead of going the other way?
How does one escape the doctrines of man? What is to escape them? They're everywhere. So deal with each proposition is really all one can do in a day. What else are you going to do? And keep the mind, exercising the mind and do the exorcisms of the presumption of possession. I'm sure if you drove down the road, you'd see, like, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 billboards of possession. You know, your dreams, your this. I mean, you in this part of the world, you go to the city, there are billboards everywhere about possession, everywhere. You turn the radio on, it's hardcore possession. Your life, go get and see, and you will be this. And oh my God, the endless. You turn the radio on, it's like the devil's radio. It's beautiful.
That's right. It's just fantastic. Brother, even the voicemails say leave your message after the tone.
There you go.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, leave your message. Why don't you rephrase it? You mean the message?
Right.
How hard was that? If you want, it's like, for example, anyway, go on and on and on. But we can look at that other one that you want. We'll have a quick look at it. You're interested? Let's quickly go.
It's up to you, brother. If you still are good on time.
Yeah, let's do it. Here we go. Blah blah blah.
This guy kind of positions himself as an expert.
Yeah, I know that. I love these. Hang on a second. Endless fucking commercials. There you go. Mine. See?
That's right.
Everything's fucking mine. Can you train the mind? That's it. There we go. Can you guys see this?
Oh yeah.
Is this going to be civil or criminal action? You got to ask that.
There you go. Is it going to be civil or criminal? Now straight away, straight off the bat, civil or criminal. Straight off the bat, the cops were asking, is this for private use or for commercial? Can you see everything is about this or that? Everything is about good or bad, right or wrong. Straight off the bat, this is all the world of man. Is anyone able to pick that up, first of all? Once you pick a side, game on.
You're acknowledging.
Yeah, game on.
Is that like verifying?
Basically, I would imagine.
Once you pick a side, once you pick a side, it's possession 101. Nice and simple.
You got to ask. I see people try to do this and they leave this part out. You got to ask them.
Right? Really. Now you got possession.
Is this going to be a civil or criminal action? The reason
now there's action. There's grounds
for that is that there's only 2 criminal jurisdictions in the Constitution, but
now there's 2: knowledge, good, bad, right, wrong, criminal, civil. Is anyone picking up? Blue pill, red pill, this side, that side?
There are 3 jurisdictions. So we need to narrow it down. So when you ask, is it criminal or civil, and they say criminal, we know it's not equity because there's no criminal aspect to equity.
So the equity is whatever comes out of that pie hole is now equity. Another word for equity is liability.
So that only leaves common law, maritime admiralty. So it goes on, it says.
More and more terminology. That's all I'm hearing.
So he's going to say, is this going to be civil or criminal? If the judge answers that it is a civil action, not likely, then you must immediately object and move for dismissal.
See? So as soon as you bring up those terminologies, the judge is going to entertain that. Okay? Not likely or whatever.
The reason here is that you are now in the wrong court. The state can bring a case against you and judge its own case.
Judge can bring whatever he wants. As soon as you start to bring up these terms.
You've agreed.
And judge of their own.
That's right. Once you bring up any form of terminology, and that's why I love anyone who, who is a guru of court or anything. That's why I think it's brilliant, because you can actually go into court and do this and start to learn by what these guys are saying and see what happens. To me, I'm looking for the how can I put it? I'm looking to see what zeroes everything out and what is the question that's going to work. And that's not filling the head. Is that filling the head with more of this fucking dogma and bullshit?
Action. On the other hand, if the judge answers that it is a criminal action, most likely, then you can make the following announcement on the record.
There you go. You can make. Now, that makes you the maker. You can make. So that's got to do with you can make. Now puts you in that again as the liability. I am the identification with you being the maker of the life that you believe is yours. Okay, because you're an owner. As an owner, you believe it's your life. Once you discover the opposite reality, that you know, is it your life? And how did one come to such conclusions that you know, that this is your will? It's probably been the best sale of the century, that has been the most successful sale in every country, in dogma, in schools, institutions, is one's will. The will that you believe is yours, and you answer it through the I am, through someone speaking to you from the you perspective. Hey, you. And then you answer you, believing it's about the identification, because you identify with the persona of me, I, me. I'm so fucking important, and now commerce can begin because you're so fucking important.
Yeah. Let the record of this court then show that this action against John Henry Doe is a criminal action. Now another question you answer, Yana. Yana, the Constitution.
See, I have another question. See, again, this is all possession. Your Honour, one is a criminal, right? So you're just bringing up guilty, not guilty, criminal. See, when you start looking at there's this or that, 2 different or 10 different or whatever it is, you're bringing up knowledge, terminology, admiralty. Yeah, did I hear about all this shit over the years? Yeah, where did it get you? Fucking bullshit, mate. Really? You want more information? Fill the head.
Constitution grants this court 2 different criminal jurisdictions. One is a criminal jurisdiction under the common law.
One thing about after a while, when you start to empty out the head with trash, there's a little bit like, it's a bit like, how do you keep going back to filling the head with more knowledge? It's a bit like going back to a dog's vomit. You just go, oh God, really? You like it that much? It might be warm and initially, and then it goes cold, and you still want to eat it? Oh, come on.
And the other is a criminal action that constitutes a condition of contract on the criminal aspects of a colorable admiralty jurisdiction.
See, after a while, I don't know if I can hear it. It's like I just deal with the first proposition and fucking on you go. It's done.
Which of these 2 jurisdictions does this court intend to try this criminal action? Not wanting to answer, they never do.
No, they'll never answer you. Why? Because the arsehole speaking will always answer. Why? Because he's bringing up terminology. That's an answer. So if you keep on bringing up shit, that's what's going to happen.
They don't want to answer it.
No, but the judge is going to need you to answer it.
The judge might just dismiss your case now, but most will still try to go ahead with it. The only choices now are to admit to which jurisdiction applies or to avoid answering. Get an answer. There
you go. Get an answer is another word to set in the trap, right? Set the trap for them to take possession. Why work so hard? This is all hard work, boys and girls. Why not ask the basic questions? What do you mean by get? And keep it.
The common law criminal jurisdiction were to be declared, then you win by default of no sworn complaint by an injured party, because you got to have an injured party under the common law.
So the injured party, basically how the court sees it, once you start bringing in knowledge is another. It's seen as the weaponization of information, because you're going in to argue. When you're going in to argue, you're presenting a case you're preparing a case for warfare, which is a weaponization. So the more knowledge that you come into court with, you're arming yourself. You won't win, because this is the very program, what this guy's talking. This is, how can I rephrase it? Out of all this stuff that's been spoken on this thing, and I don't even need to go into it much, right? How does one know about any of these things? Well, first of all, it's the very system that taught you all of this. The system taught you about all these words. Not, wanting, to, answer, this. Who taught you English? Does anyone know did anyone go to school to be taught this so-called language, this dogma, this doctrines? These are all doctrines. Therefore, most likely here is where the judge will probably start squirming and just try avoiding answers, advising you. So all the language, the terminology, the system made this fella, or makes the system. The system made the individual, right? And the individual now is now wanting to educate the system. Now, can you see where you need a psych evaluation? Is where the system educated you, and now you're wanting to educate the system and believing that the judge is going to be squirming. I mean, if you're looking at this, when you start looking at information and you start looking at knowledge like this as an example, and you first need to ask yourself, okay, first of all, now if you were a child, first of all, what do you know about any of this? And if you knew such a thing as a language like English or whatever, Arabic or Chinese or fucking whatever, so there was a program, a doctrine that was inserted by yourself, and now you've adopted it. Now you're defending it. So now you go to court now, and you're defending this to get answers from the judge. You're there to get answers, right, from the very system that made you. So this system is perfect. And now the goyim, or the individual, or the swine, the pig or piglet, or whatever you want to call it, they're the ones going into these institutions and preaching this propaganda. It's working perfectly. Why? Because it's the very propaganda that was taught and taken by this individual. I don't know if anyone can see it. It's quite.
Next question.
What's that? Hello? Did someone speak?
Sound like it might have been Pete, but I'm unsure if it was intentional.
Oh, guys. Go ahead. Hey, Maxim.
Oh, yeah. So once you start to speak, look, this is language, can be whatever you want to call it. This is the technology. If one was to say, hey, if this is a technology, why are you now preaching it in a way? All this technology, this is like a weaponization and armament. You've armed yourself to go into court because someone is just, allegedly successful in doing this. Really? Good. Then take this doctrine, take this dogma, insert it into yourself, word for word, go into court, use it. That's the best way to try this out, because how else is one to learn training ground unless you keep drinking from the waters of knowledge or information, or do you empty out all this trash? Where is the end to all of this?
The judge might just dismiss the case now, but most will still try to go ahead with it. The only choice now are to admit to which jurisdiction applies or to avoid answering, get an answer. They're going to do everything they can to slip and slide and try to give you. I know a judge one time, he gave me a bullshit answer. We're operating under the official code of Georgia and the Georgia State Constitution. There, you happy?
See, the judge is there. When you start talking knowledge, the judge is just going to give you pretty much the opposite or whatever. He'll give you equal to what's coming out of that pie hole.
Can I give a relevant quick?
Yeah, please.
So, friend, he went in and playing knowledge games with the judge, and you know, where's your jurisdiction, all that. He was just travelling on the roads, right? That was it. But he ended up with 8 months maximum security down here in Adelaide, and then he promised the magistrate he'd get out and be a good boy, not do this sovereign stuff or whatever. They're traveling around again, and just so then next time he went into subrogation, you know, it's this knowledge game again, stepping it up a bit. He just served another 5 months. I think he got out in September.
There you go. Did anyone hear that, boys and girls?
Yes.
So down here, if you want to be like this guy, Yusef Ali, or whoever he is, right? If you want to speak like him down here, I think it's a wonderful opportunity to give it a go. Why would you want to deny someone like this the opportunity to speak in the court like this? If you've got nothing to lose, hey, if you believe this shit, then put it to the test and see what happens to you. I mean, ultimately, if it doesn't matter whether you're living on an outdoor asylum or you're getting in a padded cell, what's the difference? Doesn't matter. What do you give a shit? If you look up to these people, preach it, do it. But down here, after a while, I think with Shawshank Redemption, it took him about 40 years to wake up out of the inertia of being in a coma with all this knowledge and information. So maybe to the average human, we need about 40 years to wank ourselves silly with this bullshit doctrines of man that that's been inserted by the system. The very system that made us is now the very system that prosecutes you, right? And not only prosecutes you, fucking does what, you know, tells you to jump, how high, left, right, do this, do that, right? Is your servant. You're the slave. You've been a slave to yourself, no one else. Obviously, it's working for you.
They just give you a bullshit ass. That's some bull. What do you just say, man? We operating under statutory, because, you know, ain't no such thing as a statutory jurisdiction. I hope y'all.
There ain't such a thing? Well, now that you brought it up, what does that mean? You bring it into existence, boys and girls. Once you bring something up, you brought it into existence. Now, once you bring it into existence, boys and girls, it's a bit like an onion. Has anyone ever peeled an onion skin?
Oh, yeah.
Now, after you peeled an onion skin, could you put it back on the onion?
Hell no.
Well, there you go. That's why everything in court it needs to proceed. Everything's proceeding forward. Cannot go backwards because you took the onion layer off. Now
you locked yourself in.
Now you locked yourself in. Now we've got a matter. Now there's jurisdiction. Now we need investigation. Now we need prosecution. Now we need to enforce. We need to enforce the terms that we used. The charges need to be enforced, and only how do we do that is by seeing what comes out of that mouth and then fucking testifying against yourself, and then you basically being sentenced by your own mouth that comes the bile that comes out of that mouth. That's about as best as you're going to be possibly doing. And that very program, you got to ask yourself, where did that come from, and how's it working for you?
I know that when they say that.
I got something to add.
Sorry, say again. Hello?
Go ahead, Gypsy.
Sorry, was someone talking? Just something really funny. So that same guy was in court 2 or 3 days ago with his mate, and it was just a noise pollution, playing his stereo, like lived there for 20 years kind of thing, right? Copper Lip moves in next door, you know, the rest is history. So he goes in to back his friend, and I G'd his friend up to say this. You ready?
Yeah.
They tried to do the name, and he just said his first and middle name, right? That's it. But he's tall, unfuckable kind of looking guy, right? Big trucky guy, right? And he looks like he's going to rip your head off. So he says, he says his first names, and then he says to the prosecutor, and I don't recognise you, I don't recognise you, and I don't recognise you. And they said, charges dropped, case dismissed, and it was all over in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that can help too. See, the head fuck of all this, sometimes you can make a statement. Now, the system needs believers. Yeah. How many times have you seen people who have gone into the system and they've come out as vigilant, and their cause is now, it's like now that they can continue to fight now their cause because they've had a win in the court, right? Because without believers, what do you think the system has? Not much. So it's kind of inclined also to make winners out there of some examples. Yeah. So there needs to be winners, and when you're a winner, you're giving. I've seen many winners in this part of the world where their cause has been vindicated, and they're still on the warpath, and they're so convinced in what they're doing. You think anyone's going to change what they're doing and how they're doing it? Fuck no. So it's like setting you up for a future court date, because you will go back to court again, and you think this winning will continue? Because someone who believes that they're winning, it's on a path of delusion. What are you winning for? Winning for who?
Yeah, they get puffed up with pride or something.
Yeah, your pride before a fall. And this winning is basically, it's still a doctrine that you're winning. It's still a program that you've adopted from the state. They need someone. The state needs there to be an opposition. The state thrives with people who are in opposition to the state, because it's the engine room for, you know, for warfare, for combatant, for argument, and to prove your point. Without that, what do you think there is?
So, Daniel, why do you think they let her friend get the dismissed charges? Because he used negatives, 3 negatives in a row. I mean, it seems like they could have fried him for that, right?
Yeah, it's irrelevant whether that, what it is to me. If there was a so-called personal journey, and you know, do I look for man as an example to go by, or am I looking for the maker of man to go by? You know, because to me, if you're looking as an example upon man, you'll be doomed to fail somewhere along the line. If you are looking for the maker of man and the promises of the maker or the father, if they're true, let's see what they look like. And if I said all the promises of the father or the possessor or the I am, if I've said that they've all come true, would you believe it? It's mind-blowing in many ways. Hard to even believe or conceive that the examples of that in the scripture, or the promises. If anyone ever comes across them in the scripture as an example, you know, has the Father ever left you? And if you look upon man to guide you, if you're looking upon man to give you the answers and the results, great, then follow. To me, man has never been an example, yeah? And what example really am I going by? More doctrines and more, you know, oh, they've had a win, fantastic, so what? What's that supposed to? Yeah? If you want to be the change you want to see within yourself, and you want to put that to good example in how it was put on the heart of every man, do you follow the Yusef's Ali of this world, or do you follow the maker of the Yusef Alis of this world? You know, if you're following the maker, yeah, are you going to shut that mouth before the flies go in? and you're going to ask the questions, or you're going to come out victoriously, I made a win, I'm a fucking hero, and I'm whatever. Yeah? The pride before the fall, so to speak.
To the law library and ask the clerk to give you the book on the rules of criminal procedure for a statutory jurisdiction.
So as soon as you bring up anything, it's jurisdiction.
See what they tell you. They'll say some bullshit on the record. And when they say that bullshit on the record, that should be an automatic dismissal.
So the record is an example, is the record what comes out of your mouth, the preponderance of what comes out of your mouth. That's the record. And that's what the agents are there for, is to basically record, video, whatever it is, what comes out of that pie hole. You know, our records indicate. Yeah? What do you mean by our?
That's why you want a transcript. That's the importance they have.
Oh, there you go. Maybe there's something. Yeah, transcript. There you go. Without the bullshit, where would the gold be? See? Even the Yusef speaking a bit of gold. Bit of transcript. How else do we study the one before us? How else do we study the system that studies you? This is like, imagine, boys and girls. Imagine that the system is designed for mining, to extract the sap out of the mouth. It's a big mining industry. It's a big business, yes, and it's there to mine. It's to mine the very words that come out of that mouth. It's an extraction. It's like extracting the gold out of the minerals out of the earth, is extracting the terminology out of the pie holes of man. That's right. So when you start realising the fuck up that you are, or that one is, and start to go, okay, so I'm a fuck up. Right. What am I going to do different? What am I doing that they're not doing? Or sorry, rephrase. What are they doing? I'm not doing. Oh, well, they're studying me. Well, why am I such a lazy bastard? Why are they doing something that I'm not doing? Good, they study me. Well, how do I study them? And if I'm studying them, am I asking the question or am I telling them? Because if I'm studying them and I'm telling them, how am I studying anything if I'm in telling mode? I'm trying to preach back to them the very system that taught me the programs. I'm trying to preach back to the system the same programs that I took from the system. How's that going to work? They're just going to be, yeah, whatever, lock him up. Psych evaluation, this guy.
Having the court reporter in there to catch them on record saying some bullshit.
Yeah, but where would you be without the bullshit? You need the flowers to grow, right? Nothing wrong with bullshit and the dogma. So what? What do you know about the difference?
To get that shit memorialized on paper.
Yeah, memorialized on paper. Yeah, is there a signed agreement? Do you agree with that? Yeah. Do you agree with that? That's when you ask, not the judge. Yeah, when the judge asks, do you want to ask this informant or this copper or whatever, do you want to ask him some questions? Well, now's your chance.
They might mysteriously disappear out the record, because they will do that. So let's look and see what else he said. What did he say? He said, therefore, most likely, here's where the judge will probably start squirming and just avoid answering by advising you to get a licensed attorney for such legal advice. Okay?
Yeah, you got an attorney, you got a lawyer. What do you mean by get?
I tell you to get an attorney, this is what you say. Thank you, Your Honor, but I don't think that you'd be violating your oath of office if you did your duty under the Constitution. You see, I'm not seeking legal advice. What I'm attempting to know is your legal intent.
Your legal intent, that sounds like the bat. Yeah, what's your intent? Your intent is to pick a side. Your intent is to choose right and wrong, common law from this common law, or this law from that law, this admiralty jurisdiction to that admiralty jurisdiction, this rule to that rule, you know, from civil to criminal. I mean, where does it end? Yeah, where does it end? You start buying into all of this, Fuck. Are you biting off more than you can chew?
And I have the right to represent myself in my own.
I have a right because of my own. I'm a possessor. I fucking own shit.
Person without a licensed attorney. That's the Sixth Amendment.
That's the Sixth Amendment. So all this amendment fucking shit, it's about, so do you wish for man to represent you and to rely on this amendments and all this fucking shit? Do you really rely on all this dogma? And were you there in the beginning of all this amendments? Were you there in the signing of these amendments? So are you saying you were there when all this happened? And yet you're relying on this fucking shit. I mean, would you rely on it before a firing squad ready to fill you full of lead? Do you rely on all this? And is this man's world? Is this the dogma of man that you're salivating over, and you're just going, oh, give me more. I want more of this. Give me more amendments. I love this jurisdiction talk. I'm getting so turned on by it. Oh my gosh, she's so hot. I mean, this is the harlot we're fucking into. You really like this shit?
I got a Sixth Amendment right of self-representation.
Yeah, you got.
They might conduct some sort of colloquy in order to determine
fuck a colloquy. Never heard that one before.
Competency or something like that. But ain't nothing I'm showing you right here demonstrating that you're incompetent because you're asking questions.
Yeah, keep asking questions, bro. Stop bringing up terminology.
I have to know the jurisdiction that this.
You have to know. How many times when someone says, I have to know, you end up, the head gets removed from the shoulders. I have to know. Who are you to have to know anything? I have to know. Fuck. What a fucking digging a hole. I have to know. I have the right. I need to know.
Court is operating under, because the rules of criminal procedure under the common law jurisdiction.
Once you start talking, I need, I don't, this is all criminal procedure. Now the court can proceed.
Jurisdiction are very different from the rules under an admiralty jurisdiction. I need to know which jurisdiction you intend to try me under in order.
I need to know. Oh, crikeys. Please, talk like this in court. I need to know, Judge. I love this. This is great.
For me to proceed with this case. Now, the Sixth Amendment grants me the right to know the.
The Sixth Amendment grants you? Well, how does it give you anything? Unless you've interpreted it. Were you there when it was all put together? Are the parties present? So you're saying, so who are the parties that were present to the signing of this amendment? Is Yusef there? Was he there with this amendment? It sounds like a hell of a psych evaluation. So you're not even there, and you're talking about these documents and these amendments like you were there. And these programs that you were there and you signed it.
Jurisdiction being applied, and it grants you to do.
So this is really what we're looking at, boys and girls. You're not even there, and you're preaching it as if as if this is going to save you from the firing squad. Unbelievable.
Duty to inform me, and I don't think you'd be violating your oath of office for doing so. So please
violate. Here we go. That violate. Only owners speak from violation. Other than that, what violation is there? Other than a fucking owner who believes they fucking own shit. Yeah? That's about the only fucking violation there is. And that's what the agents are there for. Fucking, bring the claim, claiming that you're in possession of property that don't belong to you, and violate your sorry ass because you fucking believe you own shit.
Please answer the question.
Please answer the question. Really? He's going to dismiss it? You're there to answer the fucking questions, mate. As soon as you speak like this, they're going to lock you up and hold you in contempt.
Judge.
Am I fucking wrong?
Who's the judge?
Dismissed it.
What's that?
Who's the judge?
Don't worry about the fucking judge. When you're there and you start speaking, you're going to find out what's going to happen to you.
Case here, but will probably continue stalling. He or she is most likely to reprimand or threaten you for not getting a licensed attorney. I always tell them, they say, you really should get an attorney. I say, I'll take it under advisement right now.
I take it. So there you go. This is all possession language. This is the program from a very young age. The system's very successful in passing on the IAM program. And who's speaking it?
I need you to ask.
Or who isn't speaking it?
To these questions. I need you to answer these questions.
I need you to answer these questions. If that's true, any of the brothers on this call, can anyone actually recall when the judge said, you need to answer these questions or we're going to hold you in contempt and throw you in the lockup? Anyone recall anything like that? Anyone on the call?
He doesn't even talk.
Yeah, we're here. We don't have an answer. I don't anyway.
No, it's Dominion there.
Oh, yeah.
But Dominion, did you hear what I said?
Say it again, brother. Could you?
Do you remember if it was you or whoever, where basically the judge was saying you need to answer these papers or we hold you in contempt and put you in the box for a couple of nights to think about it?
No, brother.
Was it yourself or was it Bob?
It seems like it was. It seems like it was Bob.
Right, because someone went into basically the judge was saying you need to answer these questions from the court or we'll hold you in contempt. Anyway.
Yes. The judge will imply that only licensed attorneys have the information, that you have to go and see a licensed attorney in order to get their question answered. When this happens, this is what you say when they say you need a licensed attorney, because you're asking them pursuant to the 6th Amendment for the Constitution of the United States of America.
Anything that's in pursuant is another word for chase. Once you bring up a claim, the chase begins. So if you're bringing up terminology, right, it's basically the chase begins. So why go there?
Okay. You're demanding that he provide you nature of the action.
Demanding. Is that what a claimant does? Demands?
He's telling you to go get a licensed attorney. This is what you say. Thank you, Your Honor. Let the record of this court then show that I, John Henry Doe, the accused in this criminal action against me, have asked this court to divulge the nature and cause of the accusation upon the authority of the 6th Amendment, and that this court has failed in its duty to inform me of the nature and cause of the action. Furthermore, let the record also show that this court intends to bring this criminal action against me under a secret jurisdiction that's known only to licensed attorneys.
Holy shit.
Hey, brother.
Yeah.
I do believe you were actually correct, because the last time I was at court, I was asking questions. I was bringing up terminology, and he told me he was going to throw me in contempt. And he said we're going to come back in a week and see if I would answer the questions then.
There you go.
Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, that's what I was referring to. If that was something that we spoke about at some stage, yeah.
Yes.
So that's just giving an example. Once you start talking this way, you're in the 6th Amendment jurisdiction of fucking the 6th, the 12th, the 100th, every single number you can imagine. You can lay it all on. So,
he's acknowledging that he's the accused. Does that make?
Well, you're acknowledging everything. You're basically, this guy just, once you're in the program. This is the program of man. Thank you, Your Honour. Let the record of this court then show. I, Bob Brown, whatever, the accused. It's all doctrines. This is stuff you learn from school, and now you're preaching it in the court. And the court is there to basically take the program away from you. Sometimes they give it back to you because it's like, we've got to keep these, we can't let these people stop believing. We need to keep them taking. It's a problem if someone isn't taking these programs. We can't have someone on this planet who doesn't take these programs. So that's why someone who does this and comes out successfully, they can now be vindicated and preach this stuff all around the world and send out this message how wonderful this stuff is. And people love to rely on man's wonderful experiences and all that God knows, now they've got cause to continue their crusade. And once you've got cause to continue your crusade, you are vindicated and you're the possessor of this life that you believe you own. And on and on and on it goes.
See how this is where you get your information. This is how you get, man, you learn this book right here, man. You be ready for anything in court.
There you go.
You be ready for anything. Man, you learn this book right here, man. You be ready.
So you learn this book. Now you learn, another word for learning is you read this book, you interpret this book, you'll be ready for everything. Yeah? Because you want to rely on this book, right? You want to interpret these words.
For anything in court. You be ready for anything.
Now, where did you learn? Where did you learn? So that the program starts at school. What do you think you're learning? You're learning terms, words, R, E, I, O, R, E, all these fucking sounding out words like we spoke the other day to a couple of friends. You're sounding out words, you're learning from I don't know, grade 1 prep, the sound of words, and you start to cat, and then you start putting meaning to it, and then you start interpreting words, and then you grow up like this guy, and now you read this book. So it's the same programming now that he grew up with. Now he's preaching the same program. Read this book. He's encouraging you. So the teachers did a very good job on him. And now, how do you know the teachers did a very good job on him? Well, because he's now promoting or encouraging the same propaganda, maybe slightly different to what the teachers had been doing. He's doing the same thing. Beautiful.
And is that propaganda to accept beliefs and then preach them?
Sorry, thank you. Say that again.
Is the propaganda that he accepted from the teachers to accept a belief and teach it instead of question?
Well, the propaganda, it continues in life through encouraging others to do the same.
Right.
You're encouraging others to believe what you believe, encouraging others to read this book, and you can be vindicated in court by reading this book. You'll be successful. This is the belief. So you're going by the doctrine of man. So you're now going by the program that's been programmed. You're doing the same. It's a very simple thing that's going on, and it's happening everywhere around the whole globe. You've got like maybe you've got like the best salesperson, which is the prime minister or the president or whatever you want to call it. They preach out doctrines, and now you buy it, and now you sell it. What do you mean you sell it? Well, you sell it to your friends around you. I'm going to vote for this chap. Oh, I don't like you because I like this one. So you start talking the same way. You start behaving the same way the system made you. You start now doing the same what the system has done to you. Is that too much?
I believe that's called to proselytize.
Wow, what's that word?
Proselytize. I believe it's to try to persuade someone to switch their beliefs into your way of living.
There you go. I would call that to either what was it? To persuade or dissuade. In the scripture, I think there's a scripture in there. I love it. And it says, "Neither shall you persuade nor dissuade anyone." Yeah. In other words, what do you know about these doctrines? Whose property is all this? But without this doctrine, how would you be able to go into training ground? That's why all of this is without all the bullshit. Yeah. Is there flowers amongst all that? Sure is. But you want to be careful smothering too much of the flowers with too much fucking bullshit too.
And then you just start adding your knowledge on top of this. This is your base right here. You just get all this stuff. So you got to have something to say in court. A lot of y'all don't know what to say in court. You don't know what to say.
Yeah.
You got to rehearse your lines there.
Why say anything?
rehearse their lines. It's a stage play. They got rehearsed lines. That's why when you take them off the script, they don't know what to do. They exercise a ministerial duty.
Oh, there you go. So I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah. There you go, boys and girls. I think we went through that.
And that fella gets $300 per hour for consultations on that topic.
Yeah, well, that's because there's people are buying it. You buy it, you know. It's that's the beauty of it. You buy this, $300, pay. You should charge $1,000 a minute. People will still pay.
That's right.
You know, he'll be drunk on himself so much that people, yeah, they'll buy anything. People love buying the beauty of this is he's doing exactly, this is the hard thing to see, is he's doing exactly what he was trained to do. And that's basically to pass on the propaganda, package it, wrap it, and basically encourage you to buy this book, and that's going to sort out all your court dilemmas. It's great. It seems to successful marketing. It's just another marketing ploy. No different to you know, what's the best for everyone, you know, and what's your intent? It's just another marketing ploy, you know. Is there any marketing ploy on these calls? Well, if you're asking the question, what's to market about it? But go out and live it instead of preaching it. Is there a difference?
The guru, there's plenty of them.
There's plenty of them. They're all out there. Yeah. You know, if they're selling, who's buying? Anything else, boys and girls? It's good to see you on, Peter. 88 Keys. And Toto. Mike and Money and Tony. I think we've been, how long have we been talking for? Holy shit.
Nearly 3 hours, brother.
All right, we're going to have to wrap it up. I do go on. Why didn't you stop me?
I was enjoying it, brother. I was enjoying it.
We were enthralled.
What's that?
We were enthralled, I said.
Enthralled.
Yeah, you like that word, huh? Hey, Boon, thank you, man. Thanks for all your help and trouble and everything.
Who's speaking now?
Tony.
Oh, Tony, brother.
Right
yeah,
on.
nice, man. Nice that your brother's jumping on. Yeah, I think it's great when you all pop on. And then look, each time we jump on, throw a bit of propaganda up there. It's all there to be investigated and scrutinised and broken down into particles. Yeah, who the fuck really knows anything other than what you've been told? And do you believe every bit of bullshit that someone tells you? Maybe that's something to consider. So anyone want to say anything else before we go into maybe conclusion and maybe talk another time?
I think this was beautiful, brother.
Yep. Well, lots of love to you all then, brothers and sister. Thanks for jumping on. And yeah, I do appreciate your recordings and that, Dominion.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it. It's good. And that's where, you know, if we're using a platform, and that was something that we wanted to talk about with, you know, we had a good chat about the brothers, about if there's neutral ground and you're not against, you're for the system. Who are you against? Yeah. What's to be fearful of? Yeah. If you come in as a child, is it true the children of this world are protected? And once you start spewing out knowledge and what's going to change and what's starting to happen now, but if you're coming from the perspective of the question in you know, how may I help, you know, and you know, what do you mean, and do I know you, you know, why are you here? Basic questions and dealing with possession when you hear, what do you mean by got? You got a lawyer. What do you mean by got? Are they your keys? What do you mean by your? Have you been drinking? What do you mean by have? Yeah. If you start to consider these things, what's to be afraid of? And especially when there's a agreement, we use a platform of technology. Yeah. Whose is it? Yeah. Is all property in the hands of the possessor? And if that's true, you know, if we all come together and we agree, you know, to come together to be uplifted and to see if there's another way, what's to fear, brothers? Yeah, what's to fear? Anyway, something just to ponder on.
One more thing, Boon.
And if there's any, you know, if there's any sort of thoughts, you're always welcome to pass them, meditate on them first, and then, you know, pass them amongst brothers. And if this is a platform that we use, you know, who's to use it against you? You know, if you're considering the maker of all things, what have we got to worry about? What has one got to worry about? All right.
What a fantastic question, brother. I do think the brother Tony was trying to say one last thing.
Oh, it was just like when the police say, do you have, like you say, what do you mean by have? Well, what about the you part?
No, the you is just an offer for you to take. And once you take, it's now yours. Okay? So you suddenly becomes yours once you've taken the offer.
I got you.
It happens.
So it nullifies it, basically.
It happens in a blink. It happens in a blink of an eye. It's like the head is removed sometimes so quickly. It's hard. You won't even. Yeah. It's too quick. That's why to incline the ears before speaking. Shut the fucking mouth and listen before you speak. And when you speak, it's always in the first proposition. Staying on the path is staying on the proposition, which is basically it's always down here. It's always possession, which is 9/10 of the law. Is basically, you know, your car, your keys, whatever you believe you own, and then you bring it back to neutral, zero. What do you mean by your? Or do you mean the keys? Or do you mean the wife? And that brings it to 1/10. Okay, 1/10 is neutral ground.
All right, brother.
It's a bit of a head fuck of a concept to perceive. Unless you're sort of living it and doing it, it starts to come together. It's kind of like you see a bike. I see a bike. Yeah. I see people riding a bike, but I've never done them. I've never hopped on a bike. I've never ridden it before. So until you hop on a bike, wobble around, fall over a few times, and then hop back up on it, eventually you'll start to you find your balance and start to find how, right? Because there's a determination in you to learn how to ride a bike. That's the proper learning, which is learning through example, through experience, instead of learning every day through dogma and not going out and experiencing the dogma through question. Sometimes the message, what's the use of a message if you can't live it? It's just useless. It's like a waste of a resource. And imagine dogma and all of this information, knowledge, it's all a resource. What are you going to do with it? What can you do with it? You want to start to look at information as, well, unless it's relevant and you can actually physically do something in the moment with it, what's the relevance other than a storehouse, a fucking library of so-called knowledge? And what is it, you know, to be able to store all this knowledge? Is that what you're made there for, to store knowledge, a storehouse? Empty out the trash. Empty out what's between the ears. You'll find life is a lot lighter and easier and a lot more enjoyable. And you'll find the fear factor is so much less and less. The less knowledge, less fear. More knowledge, more fear. And knowledge is just another word for the identification of what you think you know. That's really all knowledge is. It's you think you know something, instead of handing it back to the one who you know, whose property it all is.
So is the reason that you go by you is because you're neglecting to pick up ownership of that you? Is that what you're saying?
No, well, hang on a moment. You is just an offer for you to consider, for you to take possession of the offer. Now it's proven. Once you take it, that's how the judge talks. You've taken it. Now I'll take it. Can anyone kind of grasp that in some way? Is that too hard to sort of conclude, or what is it? It's just an offer.
It's easy. It's easy. I think my thing I'm going to practice is to slow it down, take a deep breath.
Slow it down. Good, Gypsy. Slow things down. When you think you know something, right, you're speeding up. When you're asking yourself, what the fuck do I know? You're slowing it down. When you think you know something, you're speeding up. When you want to slow down, you're going, what the fuck do I know? That's a good start for anyone, if it helps. Does it help?
Take a deep breath, bring it into the present moment. Don't let them rush you.
Yeah. Don't be so distracted by all the offers around you. Just deal with what's in front of you, and that's it. It's going to keep you busy enough in a day in dealing with those offers. There's enough going on in one day to keep you busy. Start opening the eyes and start to investigate the shit that comes out of that pie hole. If you must, record yourself just for fun. Start listening to yourself, how you speak. Don't forget the teachers. They did a good job. They did a good job with that other fella, right? The programs work very well. How do you know? Well, when someone starts to sell it, when you're selling a program, well, someone's buying it. Why buy it without investigation? Investigation, boys, investigate, scrutinise the mind, interrogate it, interrogate the thoughts, every thought, bring into subjection. Ever thought of ink it, think it? You think something, ink it, and from that thought, start to open it up into question. You'd be surprised what amount of garbage is inside us.
Dissect it.
Where do you start? Holy shit. Are you saying there's a beginning? All right, boys and girls. May we all catch up another time and yeah, transcripts, videos. I love all that shit. Bring some real copper examples. I love coppers. Bring some actual examples of lawyers, guns, and money. Anything that's gonna, a little bit of topic for scrutiny.
I may even grow to love them myself.
You might even what?
Grow to love them again myself.
Look, hey, listen, don't forget, they're doing it hard. They carry a hell of a burden. Don't forget that. It may not appear that way, but, you know, possession's a bitch. Who can handle it? If there was a message in the scripture, and I only use that as not a book as a preaching thing, but as a message, and if it was true that there was this fella called Jesus, I've never met the fella, but I'm just saying if it was true, who the fuck really knows? But if there was a message that says, if it be thy will, take this cup from me. It was unbearable, right? If it be thy will of the possessor, the I am and the Father are one, the possessor of the heaven and earth, take this cup from me, the cup of knowledge, the burden. Who can bear it? Can any man bear the weight of possession? It crumbles every man into particles, back to dust. You really want to take something that ain't yours?
And imagine you're on the payroll and you think you're this, but then you find out you're a foreign agent and your actual badge on the side of your sleeve, it means something completely different.
Well, imagine, what do you know about pay and the roll? Sounds like the drum roll, you know? Soon as you as soon as you know something about payment, now there's a drum roll.
Can you check them meats on you?
Now there's a drum roll. We can now take you down to the gallows and you're going to put the rope around your head and you can hang yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, I might send something on about the gallows, about that. The gold is in that. All the people, they all volunteer to be hung, and the state hangs you because you've agreed to the hanging. And this is the history of how things were and how things still are. They all agreed to the hanging, and then they sung the song, and then the red coats looked at each other. They're all singing now, and now they dropped them, and they were hung from the rope, and they're dangling there, and everybody agreed to it. My hands are tied. So, you know, do we have a loving God who allows all that to happen? Wow. Have we considered things? Have we considered things? Yeah, like what's really going on this rock? Yeah. Did we consider the designer of all things and what am I doing? You know, do I follow man and his doctrines? Do I follow these experts who charge $500 an hour because they fucking got the Holy Grail? They worked it out in court, or you're guided by some of the messages that are you know, in plain sight. Who can hear it? Who can see it? All right, brothers. Lots of love. We'll talk again soon. If this happens, we'll do another call if anyone wants it. If not, we'll just go with the flow. Lots of love.
Thanks, Heath.
Sounds good, brother. Peace, y'all.
See you, Boon. Peace,
Lots of
brother.
love to you, brothers.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh, lots of welcome. Love you all.